Well, I hope it was a fantastic weekend for you. Welcome to the Erda podcast. On this Monday morning, I'm JD Green, Fly on the Wall Productions, bringing it to you live on North Main Street in Barrie. Absolute pleasure to have you on. Thanks for starting your day with me here. I appreciate your eyes, your ears. The weekend was it was a wild one for this old fella. A little stiff from some dirt biking mishaps, shall we say, but I'm all right. Hey, we are streamed everywhere. You get your podcast on the web at airedout.vt.com. The Vermont construction report is up from VTrans. There are some tangles, some delays, and these crews are working so hard to try to wrap things up before the snow flies. So give them a break. Keep the phone out of your hand. Be paying attention if you're coming through any construction zones. They are so busy right now. But all of the delays and the full report is up on the page this morning. Today being the first day of fall. Wow. And it's starting to feel like it, too. First day of autumn, yeah. Air conditioners coming out at my house. Windows going to be closed up. And going to be ready for some cooler weather. And maybe even the fleece sheets coming out as well. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies today, mid-60s. Tonight, 43 and cloudy. Yes, we're into the 40s at night. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and around 66. And then Wednesday and Thursday, a cool front moves in with showers and either side of 60 for the daytime high by the middle of the week. Birthdays today, the boat guy, Nate Perry on the birthday list. Ethan Bird, Johnny Racer, Norm Grenier. Look at these celebrity names here. Dennis Barney, Hazen Sauls, Vernon Maxim Jr., Wayne Donald, Joellen Calderera, Denise Clark, Lori Armiston, Ellen Rue, Thelma Eckenrode, and Kayla Martin, all celebrating birthdays today. Facebook question of the day, and I posted it up this morning. Interested to get your take on this. A week from tomorrow is the vice presidential debate, and I'm wondering if you plan on watching it. And if so, why or why not? Want to know. We have a lot to get to this morning. Vermont headlines over the weekend. Let's jump in head first. Larry Seiler is standing by. Central Vermont had a dome-to-home event this Saturday. Am I calling that the right way there, Larry?
Yes. First of all, good morning to all the Aired Out family and the Able to On Air Live family and everybody listening. Yes, I was at the Dome to Home. I managed to catch the tail end of it for about an hour, but Orca Media was there.
Nice.
Dome to Home was an event where they actually raised walls at the State House, and these walls are actually going to go in somebody's new house in Barrie. And basically, they those walls come what they call prefabricated, and they just had to add some other wood pieces, but it was really nice to see. And the reason why this Dome to Home actually took place is that Central Vermont Habitat for Humanity does wonderful work. We are having a horrible time in Vermont with housing, and Central Vermont Habitat for Humanity actually basically helps those who really need a home. And this woman who is actually getting a home, she's also a teacher in Central Vermont, uh, in Barrie, and she's just a wonderful person and deserves a house.
Yeah.
And everybody, these are subsidized mortgages, and you can pay them down. And the Central Vermont Habitat for Humanity was actually one of the ones that actually started it. Was President Carter, who is now in hospice care. He's
Yes.
not doing too well,
That's
and
right.
and we have to pray for him. But Dome to Home was a wonderful event. A lot of volunteers were there. A lot of corporations were there. People were, and even Senator Ann Watson was there, showing support. And
Nice.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful event.
Now, Larry, you're going to be doing some coverage on the opioid crisis here in Vermont as well.
Yes, I have some stats to that. Last week, I spoke about the homeless crisis, and I will continue to speak about the homeless crisis. But let me just tell you some real horrible stats here. According to www.kff.org. Now, KFF is a stats company that does things like drug abuse reporting and so on. So let me just give you some stats. As of 2021, there were 218 opioid overdose deaths in Vermont, which accounted for 87% of all drug dose deaths in the state. Across the U.S., opioid overdose deaths accounted for about 75% of all drug overdose deaths in the country in 2021. As shown, if you go to this website, there's a figure that, like a graph, and it says it goes by age adjusted death rate due to opioid overdose.
Yeah.
And there is it increased also by 9.1 per 100,000 to 37.4 and 100,000 in Vermont.
Yeah.
Over the same period, it's adjusted by age. So I mean, these stats go by suicide and opioids and homeless and opioids. It's just astronomically bad. And one of the things I'm going to mention, a couple of months back, Ableton on Air, we spoke to, she works for Governor Scott's office. Monica Hutt used to be the commissioner for disability office, but now she works for Governor Scott's office, and she deals with opioids and epidemic situation in Vermont. If you want to look at that show, you can go to orcamedia.net and look up Ableton on Air drug overdose, and you'll see that show. But
all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry. We appreciate you, man. When are we going to connect with you again?
Tomorrow.
All right.
You will get more stuff on Ableton on Air live segments, and we'll have a lot more this week. I'm doing a tape show tomorrow on institutions.
Yep.
But there's a lot more coming from Ableton on Air live.
All right. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate you. And, of course, this is an important time to mention that Suicide Prevention month of September is, we're well into it. And I know that there's some headlines this morning all over the place. CAX among them, about these mobile crisis response teams. here in Vermont. So important to note there. St. Albans police stumbled upon a burglary in progress at 4:30 on Sunday morning. The restaurant From Scratch on South Main Street. Apparently there was a foot patrol. The police were out and about early in the morning and saw this whole thing going down and have arrested and charged Nathan Robtoy and Tony Brace with burglary, possession of burglary tools, unlawful mischief, and resisting arrest. The two are being held without bail at Northwest State Correctional Facility where they await their trial. Unbelievable. The triple murder in Paulette. Brian Crossman Jr. arrested. This is the son of the man that was shot along with his wife and Brian's young brother. He's over in New York. They got him. Unbelievable that this story has developed in this way. So horrible all around. And the town of Paulette is going to be reeling for quite some time with this. Unbelievable. Just horrible. Another shooting on Friday afternoon, this time in Rutland. Schools were closed down. Everybody is safe, but several people witnessed this man being shot in the chest. Told that he was transported to the hospital. I don't have any word this morning on his condition. We have a northern New York story this morning. A man from Springfield, Vermont, driving drunk, Tyrone Perry, flipped the vehicle, hit several signs and even two boats before coming to rest. A 2-year-old in the car with him failed field sobriety tests. Amazing that this went down over the weekend. Also, Vermont Day at the Big E on Saturday after a Friday night fire in one of the horse barns at the Big E. All 161 horses are safe. By the way, the Big E set an all-time attendance record, 178,600 people in attendance. Unbelievable on Saturday. Well, the weather was perfect, but the West Springfield Fire Department was very busy on Friday night. Battery Park in Burlington Friday afternoon. A fight ending in a brutal stabbing. I guess, from what I understand, this man is still alive, the victim of the stabbing. First responders performed life-saving efforts on this man and transported him to UVM Medical Center. From what I gather, he is still alive, and the other individual, the suspect in the stabbing, is being held in jail, obviously, but just unreal. Saturday afternoon, we had a guy jumping from Rock Point Jump, which is right there adjacent to North Beach. Been there many times, never jumped, thought about it, but never did. I don't know, maybe 25, 30 years ago. But this guy hurt his back. He was rescued by some folks that witnessed it and pulled him out of the water, but he is at the UVM Medical Center recovering from a back injury. That's a big jump. I'm not sure how many feet that is, but it's huge. And besides, you got some really cold water at this time of year. I don't know if I'd be doing any cliff jumping in Lake Champlain. Vermont Secretary of State's office says that by the second weekend of October, ballots will be in your mailbox. And don't panic. They're obviously expecting mail delays. I think many Vermonters were expecting to get their ballots in the mail already. but things are a little delayed. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be. National headlines. 4 people killed, 17 others injured. Multiple shooters opened fire Saturday in what police described as a targeted hit on one of the people that was killed at a popular nightclub in Birmingham, Alabama. The shooting happened shortly after 11 p.m. Saturday night at 5 Points South, a district filled with entertainment venues and restaurants and bars, and is often very crowded on weekend nights. The mass shooting, one of several this year in the city, unnerved residents and left city officials pleading for help to solve the crime and address the broader problem of gun violence, especially in Birmingham, Alabama. The shooting occurred on the sidewalk and street outside of a lounge in the entertainment district, a lounge by the name of Hush. Blood stains visible on the sidewalk outside the venue on Sunday morning. It was just amazing. Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurman said that authorities believe the shooting targeted one of the people, again, that was killed, possibly a murder for hire, and said a vehicle pulled up, multiple shooters got out and began firing and then fled the scene. A total of 21 people were shot. 100 shell casings were recovered from the scene. Again, 4 people killed, 17 others, or 21 others actually, were injured. Unbelievable. And that story was just exploding over the weekend, all over everybody's cell phones. I was unplugged on Saturday night and didn't find out about it until late. House Speaker Mike Johnson unveiled a spending bill yesterday that's going to avert a government shutdown if it's passed by both the House and the Senate before funds run out on September 30th. So, still, even with a possible deal to avert this lapse in funding, the standard procedure to bring non-essential government functions to a halt will soon get underway for all federal government departments and agencies. Wow. U.S. health regulators approving the first self-administered at-home influenza vaccine. Treatment is delivered via nasal spray. We got that story up for you on the page. U.S. officials propose a ban on Chinese-made software and hardware in self-driving cars as soon as today, according to reports. This follows a recent tariff of 100% on imported Chinese electric vehicles. No thanks to all of that, is what I said. I'll take the gasoline, and I'll always have both hands on the wheel. Let's see. Yes, Kelly, that story was late last week about the man in Stowe. Yeah, but we're following what's going on today, right now. Paper or plastic? We've always been asked that question for a very long time. The question is no longer going to be a choice at a grocery store in California. The governor, Gavin Newsom, signed a new law yesterday banning all plastic shopping bags starting in 2026. So now it's just going to be, do you want a bag? And it'll be paper. Kmart, one of America's most iconic department store chains, is closing its doors. The last full-size store in the United States is going to be closing this fall. A much smaller Kmart is still open and in existence in Miami, Florida, apparently. That's going to remain open. But this store, the big one located in Bridgehampton, New York, is going to close its doors for good on October 20th. A chain that started out as a five and dime, Kmart, No more. Still got a few classics out there. I think there's maybe a few Sears floating around and some Marshalls, but Kmart is, that's it. And this one in Miami is like a real tiny little, it's just not even, I know, Francine, I loved Kmart as well. Anyway, world news. Israel conducting extensive strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The Israeli military said over the weekend that they saw the two sides exchange the most intense fire since the war in Gaza started. Israel has urged civilians to leave areas in which Hezbollah operates, warning it could be soon engaging in precise strikes against the Iran-backed militant group across Lebanon. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu considering a plan to force all Palestinians out of northern Gaza to lay siege on to Hamas and force the release of hostages. And separately, Israeli troops shut down news outlets Al Jazeera and Ramallah in the West Bank yesterday. Lots of activity there over the weekend. Sports world, Chiefs got by the Falcons 22-17 if you're watching ball last night. Other winners, we had the Giants, the Eagles, Vikings, Broncos, Packers, Colts, Steelers, Seahawks, Panthers, Rams, Lions, and Ravens. A lot of football last night on the tube. Monday Night Football tonight, 7:30 for the kickoff with the Jags and the Bills, and then 8:15 for the Commanders and the Bengals. And then Thursday night, Cowboys and Giants this week. Red Sox, 9-3 win over the Twins. They're going to be back at it tonight, starting up a series with the Blue Jays at 7:07, and then back home to finish out the regular season. Local racing, got to give some kudos to Gabe Brown, who entered Saturday's Fall Foliage 200 at White Mountain Motorsports Park as the series points leader and then drove away with the checkers. Congratulations, Gabe Brown. Milk Bowl weekend, October 4, 5, and 6. It's going to be amazing. It's coming soon, really soon. The Montpelier Fall Festival is something that has been right front and center in our community calendar, brought to you by the World newspaper. We've been talking about it a lot for the last week or so. It is coming up this Saturday, September 28th. It's going to be from noon to 4 on the State House lawn. And Vic, I'm going to take a stab at the pronunciation of the last name here. Guadagno.
That's real close, man.
Is that close?
Guadagno.
Guadagno, Italiano.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, man. How are you? Welcome, man.
I'm doing great. It's very nice to meet you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, you and I have we have something in common. We love music. We love arts. We love food. We love Chad Hollister. Got the Chad Hollister hat on this morning.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about this fall festival. This is going to be a huge event, and I have questions here. MRPS.
MRPS Pie, yep.
What is that?
Well, I'll tell you more. Let's start with the festival.
Yeah,
because the festival is going to just be a rockin' party.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of music, it'll be music front to back. Local bands from the Montpelier High School and from the area.
Wow.
And there'll be all sorts of activities. There'll be food trucks.
Yeah.
I can tell you specifics about the food trucks, too, because that's cool. And this is the 8th year they've been doing it.
Okay.
We've been doing it.
Yeah.
And it's a fundraiser for Pie.
Yeah, for Pie, and I want to know about that. But first off, also kudos to Montpelier Live because they've really partnered up with you guys and they're hammering this.
Absolutely,
thing.
They've been a partner from the beginning, and they're also a key sponsor.
Yeah.
As is the Hunger Mountain Co-op.
Yep.
But Montpelier Live, and then also Onion River Outdoors. Those are the three sponsors. You know, it's Pie, Montpelier Live, and Onion River Outdoors. And Onion River Outdoors does a fun run. That kicks the thing off. Actually, you can register on site. The fun run starts at 1, so I think it's 12:30 to 1. You can register.
Right.
And that's just a short run. It's for fun. It's right around downtown Montpelier.
Sure.
And while the festival's going on.
Not competitive. Just get out there and get
It's a run. I've been calling it a race with my organizing partners, and they keep correcting it. It's a run. Right. There is no racing going on.
Now, Partners in Education, the PI is the acronym. What exactly is that?
Quite simply, it's the parents groups, caregivers groups, and there were 4 schools in our district. And now it's just the 3 with the consolidation last year. So we have the 3 school districts, and each have caregiver groups. So it's Union Elementary, Main Street Middle School, and the high school.
Okay.
And we raise money primarily through this fundraiser. This is our big fundraiser. And the event's free, which is cool. So you can just come have a good time. But the community really steps up and donates, our big fundraiser. And then we disseminate the money out to the different caregiver groups, which they give based on the need of the year. So if there's a class trip for the middle school, if there's some sports gear, they get requests from the teachers and the parents, and that's the organization.
I love this.
Yeah, cool.
I love this. This is, as you said, this is the primary fundraiser through the whole year. So you can come and leave your wallet at home, but please, buy some food, support the various vendors that are going to be there, and make a donation to this.
Totally,
because
absolutely.
You every dime that you donate is staying local.
It goes right local.
That's
we also have an
huge.
incredible raffle. So a lot of people donated just whatever they could, 500. The businesses stepped up and donated, and then 30 plus small businesses donated some gift.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty high probability raffle going on.
Wow.
So you can get gift certificates from like 25 all the way up to like $150.
That's amazing.
Massages, T-shirts, clothing, all sorts of cool stuff.
Wow.
So the raffle goes on, yeah.
So the goal is to raise $15K, right?
15,000 is our goal, yeah.
All right.
We're not there. We're close though. We did great with our sponsors. So.
Yeah. So what are I think it's so awesome that parents are involved with their kids when it comes to schooling. Is there anything more important? I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge. Yeah. That's huge.
Yep. And to me, that's why I took this opportunity. This organization has been in the minds of people for 20 plus years. They formally became a 501c3. I think 9-10 years ago, roughly.
All right.
And then last year was the first time they brought in kind of a paid consultant, if you will, to help.
Okay.
Because this is volunteer, man. I did want to shout out to the team of people putting this together this year. This is myself, Adisa G.R. Muller, and we have a junior at Montpelier High School, Natalie Remick, who's the events coordinator. So we put out a request. Is anybody interested in doing this? And she said, yeah, me. So last year we started working with her. We met through the summer. So this little team of people have been doing it. And then the volunteers start showing up, parents, because we have lots of stations to do.
Yeah.
Norwich sends a crew of people to help with volunteers.
Wow.
And I will point out that Adisa did this all by herself last year. And now that I'm involved in it, I'm just blown away.
How is that possible?
I don't know, man. I don't know how she did it, but so I really am grateful for
what
that.
is MRPS?
Montpelier Roxbury Public Schools.
Okay.
So, and Roxbury, as you know, you may or may not know, but Roxbury has a small village school, and which was, pros and cons. Many would. It's a difficult situation, but had to be brought in. I think it was the first time in history that the Montpelier Public Schools budget failed last year.
Okay.
So that was I think it was a long story. We won't get into that.
Yeah.
But Roxbury's now, their kids are getting on a bus and coming down to Montpelier Elementary.
Yes.
Union Elementary. So, yeah.
And kids are kids, man. It doesn't matter what school they go to. They're all learning. They're all growing.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're thriving. And, man, it's like you can't throw education into autopilot. You've got to be proactive. You got to be doing things like this to better the lives of kids.
And for me, getting into this is I think that edge zone between our public schools and the community is a really fascinating and potential vibrant space.
Yes, it is.
So and as kids, when they're in elementary school, the needs, parents are coming in and having lunch and just they're there. Middle school, that transition starts. So now it's like we're doing class trips and we're sometimes, chaperoning dances and whatnot. And then you get to high school and it's like, Dad, I don't want you around.
Yeah, I don't want you.
But
I'm already getting that. She's 9.
but the need doesn't disappear. So the way that parents participate, and what we've been doing a lot of talking about is if you don't have kids in school,
Right.
the public schools are a resource and an asset. So we're really looking at how do we make this just available and a benefit to everybody. So that's what MRPS Pi does.
Reading your press release here, these funds support interactive real-life experiences outside of our school community that deeply connect to learning, internships, athletics, author and artist residencies, community service, and dozens of other amazing opportunities for all 4 schools. And that's tremendous, man.
Yeah,
That's
It's
tremendous.
awesome. Some of the things that are just kind of fresh for me, we recently ran the Screenagers film last year, so educational films and on authors that can come in and provide things that maybe the day-to-day school doesn't have.
Sure.
And also, one thing that was really my daughter just entered high school, but there's I'm going to forget his name unfortunately, but there's a teacher at the middle school who really organized the Vermont History Day, and so the kids all compete throughout the school and they go up to UVM with a history project. My daughter didn't make it in 7th grade. It motivated her to do it in 8th grade, and she did. She won, part of many Vermonters that won, and then we supported their trip down to Washington, D.C. for Vermont History Day.
Wow.
So those are the kind of things where the school may not have the budget to do that. That's kind of how we look at it. Anything beyond what the school budget allows and pays for, we're kind of filling in that void.
Well, as a dad, that's reflective on you. If she's motivated to do something like this, that's tremendous. I love hearing stuff like that. But even if a kid is motivated to do something great with their education, we still have to have the funds to support that. If it's a trip or if it's an event or a project that they're working on.
Yeah.
This is tremendous.
And I think expanding the opportunities, because there's so much happening in the community that are learning opportunities. At the high school, there's flexible pathways. Matt McLean runs this. So that's looking out for opportunities for students to participate in real world situations. Like our events coordinator, Natalie Remick, is doing that. She's getting credit for that. So I think the real potential. Mm-hmm. Where's the real learning that could happen, which really strengthens a community, even in here, right? And I do media too, so I'm always looking for people to come help and learn. That's how I learned.
Yeah.
Good chance a lot of media people learn that through internships. So
of course.
Yeah.
I want to run down the lineup a little bit, but I know you've got some notes here. I want to make sure we hammer everything out, man.
Right on. One of the other projects that I think is really cool that I'm personally interested in comes out of our middle school. It's the MSMS Sustain, and we're kind of interfacing with a part of that MSMS Sustain. So kids are learning about sustainability and resiliency, and there's a gardening project. It's the Food as a Foundation, and we put our end together to just kind of ride alongside of what the teachers at the middle school, Don Taylor and Drew McNaughton, have been doing for years.
Yeah.
So we're looking for people that are maybe growing food in the community. What they're doing now, which is amazing, is they get a lot of the gleaning food from central Vermont.
Yeah.
And they process it in the school, and they bring it down to Just Basics, which is the Montpelier Food Pantry.
Really?
Yeah, prepared foods. So the next step in that is the growing of the food. So they have some gardens around the middle school, but all the gardeners around town and even the farmers, we're looking at that opportunity to get the kids seeing how the food is grown and how the local food system can get stronger. So they did it at our house. We've got like maybe 3 participating gardeners in town. So they maybe take a little section of their garden, and it's like, okay, these squash, they'll be yours,
Yeah.
And so over the summer's tough, but we also get volunteers to manage the gardens over the summer.
Yeah.
And we got some good support from that from Vermont, the Vermont Federal Credit Union, National Life, and the City of Vermont, or City of Montpelier, I'm sorry, to expand this project. And also the City of Montpelier, which I think is amazing, has a really cool parks department. And in that is the Feast Farm. So they're looking at green spaces for potential productive and now green spaces to absorb water, right? So how does the city really look at the ecological interface of there? So
a lot of talk about that.
Lots going on, and what an opportunity for students to come and participate in that learning, and then when their learning becomes really relevant. So this is something that Pi's always looking at, how to create significant learning opportunities.
Just got a comment here. Good morning. My daughter started at UES this year, and some of her new friends are from Roxbury and and the welcoming to the school has been amazing. Love our district. So
That's fantastic. I really love hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put together kind of over the summer ways that Roxbury parents could kind of get integrated and feel integrated. And the school does an amazing job of welcoming them. And the really cool opportunities, man. Things are often problems or opportunities. So what Roxbury, unfortunately, is leaving behind a little bit is they had a great gardening gardening program.
Yeah.
At their elementary school, and they spent a ton of time outside.
Yeah.
So how do we bring that culture here? You
Right.
know, and a few of those teachers are saying, "Hey, maybe you guys can help us get a little more gardening activity at the Union Elementary because our kids are used to that."
Sure.
So,
isn't that amazing? I mean, it's like, you know, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm almost like jealous that I just didn't have that when I was in school. I didn't have opportunities like this.
Yeah.
We were in the classroom all the time, man.
Yeah.
We weren't outside learning real stuff.
right on. And also, you know, even going through college, I went to school at North. Eventually landed after kind of I'll go here, and it took me a little while to get through college.
Yeah.
But I went to a co-op program where you go a couple months on, couple months off, and then you go out and you figure out why is this learning relevant.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Why can't
Yeah.
that start? You know, and you know, I have conversations with my daughter and talk about things. And once you're out in the field, you learn a lot. That's my personal opinion. That's a real way and that's certainly not mine alone. Because if you look at the programs that the school district has, it's all there to get students out and show them opportunities. And there's some great organizations out there that are welcoming to students and interns. So
Now this fall festival on Saturday, this fundraiser for you, for this organization, MRPS and PI Partners in Education, it is going to be State Street. I'm guessing is going to be kind of maybe closed down.
Yep, we're closing down right in front of the State House lawn.
Okay.
And the run happens right on State Street. And there is some cool history. This is the 8th annual. It started as the Kids Cup, which was Chase the Principal. So that was the original one.
Really?
Yeah. And so they had it at the high school, and then they had a run. It's really been about health,
Yeah.
wellness, and being outside and celebrating with community from the beginning. But like many things, it just has a capacity to expand.
Sure.
And this is just becoming, one of the many traditions in Montpelier that people just look forward to.
Yeah.
And
8 years ago, if you caught them, what did you get? What did you win?
I think that was kept a little under the radar, and that was negotiated at time of capture.
Wow. So food truck. You got some food. You got
this is awesome.
You got some music. I mean, the full lineup is MontpelierFallFestival.com. But please do tell.
So it's great. Again, a lot of this work at DISA over last year, and many volunteers that have put this together. But there's the Bon Temp crepe truck.
Yeah.
And that's run by Brigitte Savard, the French teacher at the high school.
Okay.
So that money is going for a trip for the French students.
Yep.
And by the way, these vendors also give a percentage back to the program, which is amazing. There's La Chapina, which is Guatemalan cooking. And that was connected through a cooperative of different food vendors from Latin America and part of an effort to bring diversity to the festival. There's the St. Pierre Delicacy, which is burgers, dogs, and good food. So those are kind of on the savory. The Sisters of Anarchy does
ice cream.
Yeah, man.
Amazing.
A lot of people know them, and they just make amazing ice cream. And then this one's cool. It's LL Cool Pops. There's a student. His name is Lex Lakin. And he
awesome.
makes some amazing pops, and he's selling those for a college fund. He's trying to raise money for him to go to school. And I had these pops. They were at the farmer's market last summer, and they're just amazing. So that's the food truck lineup.
Wow.
And you want to hear about the bands?
Yeah, please.
And again, there's and this is, I do believe this is the order that they're going to be hitting, but Red Clay is the high school jazz band.
Yeah.
And then a band called Rootbound, who is the orchestra teacher at high school, and it's her band. I haven't heard them yet, but they're called Rootbound. Hard Copies is a high school band, a little on the heavier thrash kind of metal.
Yeah.
Then there's two other bands to wrap it up. One is, and these are both parents. Primarily these consist of parents of kids. Tiny Heart Explosions. Believe it's an all women band and very nice melodies, harmonies. I'm a musician. I'm gonna be playing a little bit later that night. There's a block party, so I'm stepping up with one of the classic dad bands in town.
What's your instrument?
I play guitar.
All right, nice.
Yeah. And then Slap Happy Jack is wrapping it up, and it's a husband and wife with a support band, and they're just rocking. And then the two other things that are cool is the theater departments. The Mask Theater at the high school has always been a participant, and so they're they're emceeing it, and they'll have a table set up. And then the former teacher, Kiana Bromley, the theater teacher, is opening up the Montpelier Performing Arts Hub up at the College of Fine Arts, which is now diversifying and expanding into different things.
Yes.
And so she's going to be present there, and their next production, their first production, I believe, is the Putnam County Spelling Bee or something. Okay. So they're doing a performance and then a little spelling bee interactive thing, which would be cool. Yeah.
Speaking of the College of Fine Arts, I'm guessing Orca will be down there with a camera.
Orca's been great, man. Thank you for mentioning that. They volunteer their time. They come and they shoot, and they covered all the bands last year. And we've been talking to them. They're great because they're like, "Hey, how can we do better?" And they're like, so they're going to be now shooting the bands and the activities, and then
that's so cool.
Yeah. So then we use that for some of our promotional material. So
that's great.
Orca's amazing. Yeah.
Wow. What else do you have?
Well, I wanted to tell you about then the events, right?
Yes.
You're hearing the music, you're eating the food, and then we got the dunk tank. And
I'm seeing a rumor here that the Montpelier High School principal is going to be in the dunk tank.
That is what brings people to this thing. We got the high school principal, we have the Union Elementary principal. I don't unfortunately have the list in front of me. There's teachers, there's principals. Often the superintendent shows up. So there's the dunk tank.
Well, it seems like it would be logical that the executive director of MRPS should be in the tank.
There's at
some point.
There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of loose ends to be tied up. I don't know if I can dedicate that time, but and then the Kellogg Hubbard Library is always present.
Yeah.
And they do some reading activities, and this is a family event like beyond belief. The other thing too is with the integration of the Roxbury teachers, a lot of them brought their books and redid their shelves. So what happened is there was an excess of books. So the principal at UES called me up and said, "Can you help me with these books?" So we're having a free book giveaway.
Okay.
So if you're needing books, come get them.
All right.
Face painting, the inflatable bouncy house, of course. Oh, and then Pinbox 3000. Do you know about Pinbox 3000? I don't. He's also a teacher, Ben Matchstick. He has created this phenomenal cardboard pinball machine. You buy the kit and make highly functional pinball machines. So he'll be set up showing those, and then you get to trick it out however you want. Yeah, that's worth the trip.
Wow.
Oh, and this is cool. There's a costume swap. So, Halloween coming up, you can come down get a costume if you don't have one.
Yeah.
If you have an old one.
That's so cool. Whose idea was that? That's fantastic.
Oh, man, I'm so bad. I didn't take the notes of the woman organizing it, but it's
what a great idea, though.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, right? And then games, and then, like I mentioned, that raffle, which we've been doing at the farmers market the last couple of weeks. So the raffle started already.
Sure.
Or you drop your ticket, buy some tickets, drop them in a box.
Yeah.
I've been lugging around 30 of these little white boxes.
I'm sure you have.
And now they're out, and after we draw them that day, at the end of the day, and all those great prizes get given out.
What time does everything get underway on Saturday?
12 o'clock noon.
Okay, that's
Sharp.
right. Goes till 4.
12 to 4, yeah.
That's a fast 4 hours.
It is,
there.
man. And the farmers market's before that, so it's a really great time in town, and the weather looks good. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I was pleased, and I was going to ask you about that. A little, just a pinch cooler.
Yes, fall festival.
Yeah,
right?
It looks good though.
Yeah. Oh, and Agway and guys, they donate all the fall swag. But bales of hay and the mums and things, so we get to color it all out. And I wish I could list all the sponsors. They're on our website, but the sponsors are just amazing. Oh, and I will say too, the print shops. I don't know if the Minuteman and the Drawing Board. They printed all our posters and lawn signs and banners. So it's just an amazing community event.
MontpelierFallFestival.com.
Yes.
Everything you need to know is pretty much
that's it
right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for. Do you have anything else?
No, man. I think that was good. I just want to thank you for having me in. It was great meeting you. We could talk about tons of other stuff, but no, I think that is it. And I appreciate you giving me the time.
Yeah,
man.
brother. Anytime. Absolutely. MontpelierFallFestival.com to see
this Saturday, the 28th, 12 to 4.
12 to 4. You got 4 hours. Parking, just find a spot that's legal and
That's right. No meters on Saturday, so you're good.
yeah. And get in there on foot and just enjoy the day. Thank you ever so much for coming in here. Again, MontpelierFallFestival.com is the site if you want to have a look at it, get the full schedule, get the full lineup on everything that's happening, and make plans for this coming Saturday. Thanks for liking and following the page. Make sure to tell your friends if you enjoy the podcast. And, well, drop a comment, post up a share. We appreciate your eyes and ears. 100% organic, always live, never edited, real, raw, relevant, relatable. It's the Aired Out Podcast. Right here. On Aired Out.